So I was watching this documentary on Netflix the other day called The Last Blockbuster. Guess what it's about? That's right, it's all about the last Blockbuster video and how they're still making a go of it. You know, I understand the nostalgia for video stores, but I don't understand the nostalgia for Blockbuster specifically. Probably because I grew up in a small town. Blockbuster didn't have a lot of what you call market penetration in the small towns. Hell, if you grew up in a small town like I did, then your video store was a rack of VHS tapes at the gas station. Hell, I grew up in a farming town. My very first video store was a rack of VHS tapes at the farm supply store. How my region eventually got a video store was the next town over, they had a video arcade. Rack of VHS tapes at the video arcade. Then one day, there was 2 racks of VHS tapes, then 3 racks. Then eventually, sometime in the late 80s, they were split right down the middle. You had the arcade games on the left side as soon as you came in, and you had the VHS tapes on the right side. And that's the way it was, all up until the early 90s. Then they changed owners. Then they started treating the video games like the porn. It was all in the back room behind a beaded curtain. I tell you, when I finally got to experience one of those actual big city video stores, and I went behind the beaded curtain with a pocket full of quarters to play some Bubble Bobble, boy did I get an eyeful! But my point is, while everyone's busy pouring one out for Blockbuster, there's actually a surprisingly large amount of mom and pop video stores that are still out there. You'll usually find them in the small towns because internet sucks out at the farms and Netflix doesn't come in so good out there. If you're lucky enough to live in a big city, you might find one in your arts district because there's a shockingly large amount of movies that have yet to make the jump to the streaming services. So if you happen to have one of these video stores in your neighborhood, go by and check them out when you're feeling nostalgic some night because I'm sure they'd love the business.